The accountability revolution, how owning your story changes everything. Have you ever noticed how we're all running from something? For some of us, it's that tax form sitting on our desk, collecting dust and anxiety in equal measure. For others, it's the difficult conversation we've rehearsed 100 times in our minds, but never actually had. And for many, it's the boundary we desperately need to set, but fear will make us seem difficult. But what if I told you that the very thing you're avoiding is actually the doorway to your freedom? What if the lock and the key were the same all along? I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Marquita Miller-Joshua, a visionary entrepreneur whose journey has redefined what accountability means for thousands of Black professionals across America. From teenage tax filer to transformational business leader, Marquita isn't just changing companies, she's changing lives by showing us that our greatest power lies in owning our complete stories. What struck me most about Marquita wasn't just her impressive business acumen or her ability to turn financial chaos into clarity. It was how she's revolutionizing what accountability means, especially for high achieving Black women who've spent years in survival mode, leading teams, raising families, holding down households, and now finding themselves utterly exhausted. The truth is, we've been taught that accountability means punishment, that owning up to something means bracing for pain. But Marquita's work reveals something entirely different. Accountability is actually the pathway to our liberation. Let that sink in for a moment. The very thing we're avoiding might be the key that unlocks our cage. Imagine being 16 years old and filing your own taxes. No guidance, no support, just you and a stack of confusing forms that even most adults find intimidating. That was Marquita Miller Joshua's reality. While most teenagers were worried about prom dates and algebra homework, she was navigating the labyrinth of the IRS. But here's where her story takes a fascinating turn. Instead of seeing this early challenge as a burden, she recognized it as an opportunity to take control of her financial narrative. She didn't just file those taxes, she educated herself. She pursued higher education, eventually earning an MBA. She transformed what could have been a story of hardship into one of empowerment. When you take full responsibility for your situation, Marquita shared during our interview, you gain the power to change it. This isn't the kind of accountability that shrinks you. This is the kind that expands your possibilities exponentially. Let me tell you about one of Marquita's clients who came to her office completely overwhelmed by back taxes. We're talking years of avoidance, mounting penalties, and the kind of stress that keeps you up at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling. The kind of financial mess that makes you want to change your name and move to another country. Most financial advisors would have simply created a payment plan and sent them on their way. But Marquita saw something deeper at work. She recognized that this wasn't just about taxes, it was about legacy. Together, they created what she calls a legacy strategy. They started with radical honesty about past financial missteps. They faced the numbers, all of them. And then they built a plan that went beyond just clearing debts. They created structures for building generational wealth. The result? Not only were the immediate tax issues resolved, but this client left with tools for ongoing financial empowerment and the confidence to create something lasting beyond themselves. Years later, this client has not only settled all outstanding obligations ahead of schedule, but has launched new investments aligned with family goals that will benefit generations to come. That's the transformative power of accountability. It's not just about fixing what's broken, it's about building something that was never there before. But here's where many of us get stuck. We think accountability means doing more, pushing harder, grinding until we collapse. Marquita's wisdom shatters this myth completely. During an especially intense tax season, Marquita noticed her team members showing signs of burnout. Productivity was dropping, morale was low, the chronic stress was threatening not just team performance, but individual well being. The conventional wisdom would say, push through, hustle harder, sleep when you're dead. But Marquita took a different approach. She recognized that true accountability includes setting boundaries. Let me say that again because it's revolutionary. True accountability includes setting boundaries by establishing clear work life parameters, encouraging open communication about workloads, and this is crucial, modeling self care practices herself. Marquita created an environment where everyone felt empowered to speak up about their limits without fear or guilt. The results were stunning. Team members reported less stress, efficiency improved dramatically, turnover dropped because people felt valued rather than depleted. The company achieved its most successful season yet in terms of both revenue generated and employee satisfaction scores. This wasn't just good for business, it was transformative for everyone involved. This model has become best practice advice shared widely among Black owned businesses seeking long term sustainability. Years spent pushing through fatigue taught Marquita firsthand why healthy boundaries aren't selfish luxuries. They're survival skills. They're the foundation upon which sustainable success is built. And this brings me to perhaps the most powerful insight from my conversation with Marquita. Building a legacy, whether in business or personal life, starts with owning your story, learning from setbacks, and turning challenges into opportunities for impact. When Marquita was working on her master's project, she didn't just see it as an academic exercise, she saw it as the catalyst for her business acumen. She turned academic rigor into practical enterprise skills. That project became the foundation for multiple successful ventures and a platform for mentoring aspiring entrepreneurs in her community. She didn't wait for permission to build something meaningful. She didn't wait until everything was perfect. She took what she had, where she was, and transformed it into something powerful. This is the essence of what Marquita calls owning your narrative. It's about refusing to let circumstances, mistakes, or other people's expectations define your story. So, what does this mean for you? What does this accountability revolution look like in your life? It starts with a simple but profound shift. Stop running from the thing you're avoiding. Maybe it's a difficult conversation you need to have. Maybe it's a financial reality you've been ignoring. Maybe it's a boundary you need to set with someone you love, or maybe it's the boundary you need to set with yourself about how much you can realistically accomplish in a day. Whatever it is, I want to challenge you today to take one concrete step toward owning it, not from a place of shame or self criticism, but from a place of self respect and empowerment. Because here's what Marquita's journey teaches us: the moment you face what you've been avoiding is the moment you reclaim your power. And once you've taken that step, share your commitment. Tell someone you trust. Write it down. Make it real. Because accountability thrives in community. I'm reminded of a profound truth that resonates deeply with Marquita's message. The truth will set you free, but first it will make you miserable. There's often discomfort in facing reality, in owning our stories completely, but on the other side of that discomfort is a freedom that can't be found any other way. Taking accountability is a transformative act that empowers us to direct our own growth and success. It's not just about acknowledging mistakes, but actively seeking solutions and making intentional choices to move forward. Setting boundaries with ourselves and others protects our time, energy, and well being. This conscious boundary setting isn't selfish, it's essential for preventing burnout and fostering sustainable achievement. And building a legacy starts with owning our stories completely, the triumphs and the setbacks, and transforming them into opportunities for impact. So I leave you with this. Imagine a world where we all stopped running from accountability and started embracing it as our superpower. Imagine workplaces where boundaries were respected, not resented. Imagine families where honesty was met with compassion, not criticism. Imagine communities where taking responsibility was seen as an act of courage, not shame. This world is possible, but it begins with you, with that one thing you've been avoiding, with that one boundary you need to set, with that one truth you need to speak. The accountability revolution isn't happening in boardrooms or policy meetings. It's happening in quiet moments of courage. When one person decides to own their story completely, will you join the revolution? Will you be the one who transforms avoidance into action? Will you be the one who shows others what's possible when we embrace accountability, not as punishment, but as power? The world is waiting for your answer. And so is the freedom that lies just on the other side of that thing you've been avoiding. The time for running is over. The time for owning is now. Thank you.